What is up, everybody? We'd like to welcome you to episode 32 of SportsShack. My name is Brandon Natali. I'm with Dennis Tui. There's a lot going on in this world, and especially there's a lot to remember on a day like today. Obviously yesterday, the assassination of Charlie Kirk definitely shook a lot of people in the world, if not shook the world. There's a lot of political violence going on, especially on the left. We've seen, right, Dennis? Can you describe what happened with the too many?
A couple of months ago, two Minnesota lawmakers, Democrat Minnesota lawmakers, got one of them was an attempted assassination that he survived. The other one, unfortunately, succeeded. A woman, I forget her name off the top of my head, but she was assassinated, as was her husband. The perpetrator pretended to be a police officer and killed her and her husband, and then attempted to assassinate another lawmaker. Her name was... her husband, Mark Hortman, and her name was Melissa Hortman. Melissa Hortman.
Okay.
And then the state senator, John Hoffman, and his wife were also shot and wounded in a separate related attack the same morning, but apparently they survived. Yeah, it was Melissa Hortman. I don't know why. So, yeah, we should be beyond this. We should be beyond this as a civilization. We should be beyond this as a species. We should be beyond this senseless violence, assassination attempts, and whatnot. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I agree. Whether you're left, you're right, you're independent, you're Green Party, you're moderate. There's no sense in violence there should be no sense in violence in politics. What happened, especially what happened to those people, Minneapolis people, and especially what happened to Charlie Kirk, definitely is inhumane and sick. And, this should be, murder is never the answer at all. Violence is never the answer. So, to see that what happened to Charlie Kirk was definitely shocking in a lot of ways. Absolutely, what happened to the people in Minneapolis, the lawmakers in Minneapolis. These people were husbands, their wives, their fathers, their mothers, their friends, sons and mothers, So
apparently Melissa Hortman's last words were something along the lines of "spare my daughter," who was in the house at the time.
So this should be...
it was pretty gruesome.
So this should be, as SportsShack, as human beings, we just want to obviously spread the message. This should be, to end political violence and violence within the world. And we just want to say that message. Thank you, Dennis, for being a part of that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we should be beyond it. It's so sad, and I'm sorry. I can't believe it. It still happens. I can't believe it. You would think that, after Martin Luther King Jr. and after JFK and after RFK, if you want to go back even further to William McKinley, and before that, Abraham Lincoln, we should be beyond it. We should be beyond it as a species. Like I said, it's not, a matter of political views or parties or anything like that. We should handle civilized matters in a civilized way.
I couldn't have said it any better. You couldn't have said it any better. I'm sorry. That's what I meant. Well said. Just give me 1 second. Right. And obviously today's, like I said, Dennis put it well said right there. Those last half minute. So I want to give Dennis credit for that. Obviously myself too. Obviously today's another big day. It's unfortunately September 11th. We obviously stop and never forget what happened on that tragic day, as America was attacked on our soil. Twin Towers were hit. One, I believe, at around 8:30, and then the second one around 9 o'clock. Then the Pentagon was hit, and obviously, Flight 93, where passengers stopped hijackers from hitting the terrorist's next intended target, and just a tragic day. So obviously, we stop and don't forget the lives that were lost. We sit here, obviously, America's not perfect, but we look at ourselves. We're thankful for what we have, and obviously learn and reflect. on on such a tragic day, and yeah, just crazy. That's been 24 years.
Mhm. Yeah, it's important to never forget all the lives lost and all the lives that could have been lived
Yeah, it's true. It's
and
very, very true.
affected by it and whatnot. And also, not only the people that passed away that day, but the fallout from it. First responders, like my grandfather, who passed away for because of 9/11 related illnesses, and just like the ripple effects it had. And I mean, there's the other part of it too. It led to a war, the U.S. getting involved in a war, and there's innocent people that were killed then too. All the ripple effects that came from it. It's horrible. That's why, like I said, as a species, we should be beyond it. We should be beyond violence because it's always going to be paid back somehow, some way. It's always going to come back around. So the best way to deal with it is to not have it in the first place. Handle matters through discussion.
Civilized manner.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And obviously, rest in peace to your grandfather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, almost 12 years ago now, he passed away.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry.
So
Yeah.
nice guy.
Mm.
Obviously a great guy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, just a crazy day. And obviously, there was a school shooting that happened yesterday too, as well. A lot of crazy things in the world. Just
Colorado.
you know.
You know, I don't want to like derail the conversation too much. Apparently, the school shooting that happened yesterday was the same elementary school that Trey Parker of South Park went to, but also in the same district or county that Columbine is in. Bizarre kind of coincidences. I mean, that is like haunting almost.
That's pretty.
You would
Yeah.
think of any community where that wouldn't happen. The community that Columbine happened in. Jesus Christ. It's horrible. Like I said, all senseless violence. It's terrible, especially in elementary school. It's not. What is this for? What's the good that's going to be sparked from this?
It's true. It's
Nothing.
true.
Nothing. Although I do have to say, as a society, what lesson have we learned? We always stay united after a tragedy, and how long does that last? We can learn a lot from ourselves and from our failures and from failures of the past.
America is definitely politically and socially divided. It's crazy. Hopefully, it can resolve within the future. I don't know when, but definitely just hoping that can end. Like I said, end to political violence and end to political divide. As you said, we're all human. What's the point? What's the point of all that? What's the point of all this nonsense and anger and just people have towards one another, socially, racially, politically? It's at the end of the day, we're all human. So,
And it's a shame to say, the realist in me knows it's not going to change in our lifetime. It's not. There's going to be another one. There will be one after that, and the cycle is going to continue. And it's shame. It's a shame. It's depressing. It's horrible, and that I think, sadly, that's the reality of the world.
yeah, like I said, and we'll wrap it up. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, who obviously I liked a lot that he went to different colleges and he was challenging. He would just have, like you said, just civilized, calm manner. He would, I mean, some people feel differently, but that's how he go to colleges, and he wouldn't degrade anybody. He would just sit down and just want to talk to people about politics, especially college students. And then just next thing you know, he was gone like that. I think it's kind of scary. I feel bad for the person that was in front of that, kind of witnessed that. That's kind of traumatizing. And obviously, like I said, he was he was a father, he was a husband, and it's definitely just sad to see that happen to someone. Whether you're left or you're right, it's just unfortunate to see that to happen to someone that's human. And yeah, so rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace to all those people, the Minneapolis lawmakers we just mentioned. Can we say their names again?
Yeah, Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mike, I believe, was the husband's name. Mark. Mark was her husband's name. And then the attempted assassination on John Hoffman and his wife Yvette.
Okay. And obviously we don't forget about September 11th, and hopefully the kids in that school in Colorado are okay, and hopefully come out strong and brave. Everybody come out strong and brave. And that's it. All right. Now, it is nice out, starting on a positive, happy note.
Yeah.
People can't drive. I know we were talking about this before.
Yeah, we were just talking about this right before the show started. That like the driving in our neighborhood, I feel like has gotten significantly worse over time. I don't know why. Maybe I just notice it more. Maybe it's because people don't like driving in our neighborhood so much, so they drive angry because our roads are all crappy. How much do we spend in taxpayer dollars in Nassau County again? How much is it to live here, and our roads are still absolutely horrible?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's very true.
That's wonderful.
Roads are. Don't get me started on that. I mean, at least southern states knock on this. I feel like the roads on there are pretty good, especially the LIE. I don't know. Like I don't remember the last time those roads have been. I don't know.
Well, you know where I go to grad school, coming off of the northern state, is brutal. It's like, did you ever play Star Fox as a kid? Star Fox
sounds familiar.
It's like Star Fox is in Super Smash Brothers, but it's like a plane game. Like there's spaceships and they're like they shoot laser beams at other spaceships. It's kind of like Star Wars or something.
I probably
it's pretty cool. But like when you get hit, everything goes crazy. Like everything starts shaking. You hear like a piercing sound. You can look it up on your own time. Star Fox 64.
You see,
I just watch someone get hit.
I've definitely
that's how it feels in my little 05 Elantra on the countless potholes
Star Fox,
on the northern state. It is so bad. It is so bad. At this point in time, it's like, again, what are our taxpayer dollars going to? I mean, this is a sports show. This is not a political show. But we are starting it off like that as immediately. It's just me being me. I go right to where are my taxpayer dollars going again? This isn't what I signed up for. I didn't sign up for having awful roads 24/7, 365. There's got to be a better way to do it. And the worst part is when they repair a road, like they're repairing Hicksville Road at the corner of Siemens Neck / Union Avenue and Hicksville Road by us, by the gas station and by Fra Amici used to be, and St. James. They're doing some kind of road work over there with pipes and whatnot. And I guarantee when they're going to put it all back together, it's going to be put back together and it's going to be horrible. And it's going to be even more potholes in our neighborhood that are never going to get fixed. Hate it. Hate it. And speaking of potholes, it seems like the Giants have hit another pothole. Big loss week 1.
Yes, that was definitely.
We thought we were going to be cruising nicely this year, and we hit quite the pothole, not scoring a single touchdown. Meanwhile, Daniel Jones, he's in cruise control. Danny Dimes is in cruise control. He's listening to Free Ride by Edgar Winter, and he's just cruise control.
Justin Fields in cruise control.
Yeah, but you guys lost.
Yeah.
He played well, but you guys lost. Danny Dimes.
And we'll get to that in a bit.
Everything's coming up aces for Danny Dimes and Aaron Rodgers, the former New York quarterbacks this past week.
Yeah. No, hey, you know what? It was definitely interesting week 1. I don't feel like my fantasy teams definitely. One of them won. One of them did good, and then the other one kind of. I should have beat Chris if I played my cards right. But I didn't.
2-0. 2-0, baby.
2-0, but I think Aaron Rodgers did play exceptionally well. Justin Fields looked great. Obviously, we're going to get into that. I think Justin Fields looks like, actually, before we get into Justin Fields, we'll talk about the Giants quick. I didn't watch much of the game, but I know a lot of everybody was telling me the reactions. I saw some of the highlights. A lot of people saying the Commanders didn't look like, they were, but then they still won. Jade and Dan, obviously it's week 1. I feel like there's going to be a lot of overreactions, a lot of, everyone's going to be freaking out. I was watching some of the highlights of Russell Wilson. He just looked out of sync. He wasn't connecting a lot of throws. A lot of plays weren't executed perfectly. Um, he's not good quarterback play, but I still like Russell Wilson. I don't think the Giants should give up on him yet. I would give him some more time and just let it sit. Everyone's already calling for Jackson Dart. I'd never seen a rookie quarterback disliked so much as in Jackson Dart, and rightfully so. He's he's a kid that's coming from Ole Miss. He's got a lot of swagger. Swagoo. He looks like he's got the confidence, the swagger. He's got the good playing ability. He looked good in the preseason, but then again, preseason's preseason. Let's settle down a bit. People were going nuts with the Giants, saying, "Oh, they look great." And then in the preseason, and I had a Giant fan that said to me, "He's like, this is the last time I've ever looked at preseason the same ever again." Then he gets the break. What you said?
What all the teams that were winless in the NFL regular season had in common, aside from being winless in the regular season in the 21st century? All undefeated in the preseason. So preseason, you can't hold too much weight with it. So we'll see. We'll keep Russell Wilson as one bad week. Hopefully he gets more in sync with the receivers and whatnot. And he was barely even playing in the preseason because they knew he was going to be starting. And they wanted to give those reps to Jackson Dart. And Jameis Winston was getting reps as well. So maybe it'll just take some time, but I'm starting to get a little feeling, Russell Wilson, kind of like the Broncos. Instead of Bronco Countries, let's ride. Jersey Turnpike, let's drive. That's kind of what I'm feeling right now. I'm not a little nervous, buddy. I'm getting a little because I was being very hesitant about the Giants series. Like, they're gonna suck again, and then everyone's like, "No, they look so good. And I was like, "All right, I'm buying back in." And then I get out of work Sunday, and I just see the absolute bloodbath that is the Commanders versus the Giants. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm good. I'm good. I turned it off. I'm not going to sit here and act like I saw every single drive. I went back. I watched the highlights. No. Nope. It was pathetic. How many times do you watch a bad movie? Not more than once. And if you're smart, not even once. You leave halfway through. I left halfway through. I saw all I needed to see. Bad. Although I did see Abdul Carter block a punt, or at least tip a punt. Right. Still couldn't score on that drive, but
No, right. You know what? Counts. Hey, you know what? I think.
You muted yourself, bud.
You caught that. I think the Giants need to give themselves some more, just some patience. Don't throw in Jackson Dart right away. Give him some time. That's what I do from the Giants. I'd wait a little bit, just have some patience. The Cowboys, that should be a good game if they wanted this a good test. Cowboys, coming off a loss to the Eagles, they're looking to prove themselves as well, but also, Giants as well. They're trying to, change the narrative of their team, of the team, the organization. That should be a good game. But like I said, from the Giants, I wouldn't freak out yet. I still have faith in the team. And we'll see. I don't know. I give John Marin, I give them, because they have a lot of patience, that organization. But like I said, we'll see. And I don't want. I think when we transition to the Jets, but you got anything else about the Giants?
The only way they can go from here is up. The Giants have just been so bad lately that can't get any worse. Hopefully they beat the Cowboys. Just beat the Cowboys. Beat the Cowboys on the road. If they beat the Cowboys on the road, Brandon, I'd be here next week wearing the old OBJ jersey. Excited. What's up? Classic Happy Denny. Eating my little cheese and cracker platters, drinking my Olipop, having a splendid time. Ha ha! Probably playing Pokemon Go, like the winner I am. But this week, I feel like a loser, Brandon, because my Giants lost. And my Yankees, they suck too. So I really have no safe haven to go to.
Yeah, the Mets don't we're gonna get sent in a bit later, but
we can take our time. getting there. I don't want to talk about how bad the Yankees have been.
Yeah, we'll transition to that later on in the bit. The Jets right now. I have to say, coming away after this week, Dennis. All I gotta say is I'm excited. I'm excited for the next Jet game.
You should be.
Like I said, I'm one of the biggest diehard Jets fans you'll meet. Yeah, I consider you know me for a long time, for almost forever. So
Yeah,
you
it's no
know how
secret what team you root for.
it's not a secret. It's not. But it's just been hard these past 15 years watching them because we haven't made the playoffs in so long. So but no matter what, I still watch and I'm still a loyal fan of them. So no matter what, I always watch almost every game, if not every game. This Sunday's going to be a little tough, but I'm going to get to that in a bit. So either way, like I always will bleed green. I always will love my Jets. Um, so that's not a question. It's just it's been hard to watch them, and they make you miserable. Yeah, they're the miserable girlfriend that you know. But it goes to show that when I do get a real life girlfriend, that they're like, hey, what's your best quality? I'm a Jet fan. I bet you're hired. What I mean by
And a
that
Met
is
fan.
the loyalty and a Met fan. So the loyalty part, that should be like a test. But anyways, in terms of what I'm trying to say here, like it's been hard. It's like last year I was excited and then I kind of crippled down after the Bronco game. And each game you were just expecting them to lose. Coming away after the Steelers game, I'm excited for this week against the Bills. Like I'm excited to watch them. They actually look like a very competent, good football team. And Aaron Glenn kind of stressed it, to the NFL, to the media. They're like, hey, I want to put out a team that Jet fans would be proud of. So far, I'm proud of this team. They looked fun to watch, and it was fun to watch them, and it was a great game. They should have beat the Steelers, but the unnecessary roughness penalty on Quincy Williams, the late hit penalty, the Xavier Gibson fumble, which ended up costing Gibson his job. That kind of messed it up, and I think the Jets they easily could have had an opportunity to win. I believe that if they were able to drive down the field within a minute left, and first off, Chris Boswell, I did not expect him to make the 60 yards like that. He could have made that from like 70 if he wanted to. I did not expect that to hit. Um, I think if they convert, they had the opportunity, they definitely would have been able to, it would have been cool to see Nick Folk hit a game-winning field goal. That would have kind of been a perfect script because Nick Folk was one of the last players from that Jet team to make the playoffs, still playing in the league. So I thought that would have been cool if he would have been able to maybe had the opportunity to kick a game-winning field goal. That would have been cool because that would have been fun to watch. Like it would have, you know what I mean? Like but that didn't happen. Justin Fields looks like the real deal. I've wrote about it from JetNation.com. I've reported it. I've even told people like he could be the answer. He has the ability. I have faith. I have confidence in him. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people kind of writing him off, saying they don't like him as a quarterback. They think they could do better. There are people saying he's overrated. We're going to tank for Arch, but Justin Fields looked great. He made great reads, great progressions. The offensive line, I got to clap it up. We finally have an offensive line. And when he was almost getting sacked, he was able to escape it. Like nothing. What happened to Aaron Rodgers, he wasn't able to escape the pressure. And so that's a lot of teams, I guess, blitz him a lot because I guess that's what they thought of him. And maybe the Jets just didn't have the right offensive lineman last year. But yeah, so no, I just, even though we lost and we should have won the game, but I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm happy with it. It was a great game and we look like a good football team. I haven't seen a performance like that in a while. So I'm excited to see how Justin Fields and the rest of the Jets look. The run game looks great. Defense, we're getting some pressures, but the secondary needs some work. We'll see. This is a big test. Josh Allen coming over. It's gonna be a good game. But to talk about Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if we ever said he was washed.
I did.
I don't know if I ever did. And
I
we do have these recordings and we have them on YouTube. So if anybody wants to call me out on it, you can call me out. I never said he was washed, but my thing is, it's just like I always said, what else does he got to prove? He won a Super Bowl. He has the records, accolades. What else does he need to do? But he played a good game. He had 4 touchdowns. And he never should have won. But I think he's kind of taken a little bit too much to heart with the Jet. it just didn't work out. What are you going to do? Kind of move on. I'm glad that this game was week 1, so they can just get it out of the way. No storyline, no drama BS that needs to be led up to it. So I'm glad with that. And so yeah, no, I thought he played a good game, and I'm gonna tip my hat to that. I'm not gonna say any crap or anything bad like that. I'm gonna tell it like it is. He played a great game, 4 touchdowns. He was connecting to every receiver. Ben Skronik was getting involved. Obviously Calvin Austin. I think that DK Metcalf. That connection is going to be good. He looked different with the Steelers than he did with the Jets. So maybe that it just wasn't a fit with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. He just he went to go. His Steelers are more better coached team. I do blame a lot of the coaching last year. I don't think a lot of it should have been on Rodgers. The coaching had a lot to blame. So, going to the Steelers, they're better run. So that's what I got to say. But no, like I said, just Aaron Rodgers, no, he looked good. I can't say any bad.
One thing I will say, he was sacked 4 times for a loss of 26 yards. Older guy. I don't know how sustainable that's going to be for the Steelers, him as the quarterback, if he's taking a lot of hits early on. As a team, they're only able to rush 53 yards on 20 attempts as a team. So that's a lot of mileage that he's going to be having. So that's something that I'd be a little worried about if I was a Steelers fan. That yes, they won. They're 1-0, but there's still some concerns there that you might have. So now I know it's like Dennis, you are the president of the Aaron Rodgers hater fan club. Yeah.
Aaron
All
Rodgers.
right. You're like, I never said, like you said, like I never thought he was washed or anything like that. Like, no, washed, bum, has been. That's all stuff I was throwing around. I don't wish anything wrong on the guy, but I'm not eating my words just yet. Not yet. I'll look at the menu, but I'm not eating my words just yet.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but hopefully the Steelers do good. I like Mike Tomlin.
It was week 1. So a lot of people, and like I said, it was, it was against the Jets, which, like I said, I'm not trying to discredit them, but the Jets are still trying to prove themselves. But I think the Jets played more than what they are. I don't think they were the same old Jets we usually are used to them. So I think it was, it was definitely a good test for Rodgers. If he would have came out differently, then it would have been a different narrative, different story. But now he's got, who's he play this week? He plays Seahawks. So in terms of him, I'd like to see him keep playing up to, I'd like to see him keep it up. I thought the offense kind of flowed well with him. They got a good run game. They were able to sack him though, so I do worry about the offensive line. So whatever defense goes up against Rodgers, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. And I like to see him keep it up. If this week 1 wasn't a fluke, it's going to be interesting to see. And that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's. I think we can move on from that, unless, of course, you have any other thoughts on that game.
No, like I said, Breece Hall looked good, so I'm excited for that. And no, I'm excited. They have rushed for 182 yards, so that's pretty good. But now let's talk real quick about Josh Allen.
What a game!
And he legit might be the best quarterback in the NFL after leading the Bills to a 41-40 win over the Ravens after trailing by 15 only with 4 minutes.
I wanted the Bills to win, and this one hurt because I cashed out. If I stuck with the Bills, I would have won $26. Instead, I cashed out for my money back. I know people are like, you care about that, Dennis? It's such a low amount. I only keep it low. I always keep it low. I was feeling myself. I made a lot of money on the Chargers Chiefs. I made $86.
There you go. All right.
So I was feeling myself this weekend. We're going to stay feeling ourselves.
Hey, you know what happened? I mean, definitely a great game. Zay Flowers. I didn't realize Zay Flowers Zay Flowers is pretty good. I didn't realize he was like that.
There's something that I do need to ask you.
What's that?
You know, I'm more of a baseball guy than a football guy. Football, I watch it. I'm a fan first. I'm a pundit second. Baseball, I'm kind of like the opposite. What is going on with the Ravens and Mark Andrews? He was supposed to be Travis Kelce 2.0, and now he's kind of just like glorified Daniel Bellinger.
Hey, Bellinger.
I'm not wrong. That's not wrong.
No.
I think Daniel Bellinger might have had more yards in week 1. He might have certainly had more receptions. I mean, like, I understand they have Isaiah Likely as well, but like, seriously, what's going on there? That used to be Lamar Jackson's guy. Now he doesn't even get the ball thrown to him. You have Zay Flowers stealing his receptions, his targets. Actually, no, Daniel Bellinger had 1 for 14. I actually think that's about the same that Mark Andrews had. I'm being just a complete hater now. But still, I think you get the point I'm trying to make. Like, he used to be such a big part of that team, and now he's barely getting anything. It's odd, right? Mark Andrews had 1 for 5 on 1 target.
You know, it's interesting. You know, I don't. He used to be a bigger part of that offense, but I guess
a huge part of it.
Used to be a huge part, but I guess they feel differently. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works.
I don't know.
No, I agree.
It's weird. It's odd. It's not like the guy's washed up. He's still relatively young. I think he's still in his 20s. He's probably, if I had to guess before looking it up, 28, 30. Oh, all right. So I was off. But still, he's not a
scrub.
He's not a spring chicken, but he's not, out there with a cane and a walker either.
He only had 1 target. That's crazy. And Lamar Jackson
5 yards. One for 1, 5 yards.
Whoever had him. Whoever had him in 2000.
Really odd.
Was he an All-Pro that year? I don't think he was All-Pro. Did he even get selected to the Pro Bowl? Oh, okay. Wait. Actually, no. Wait a minute. Okay. No. He had to be an All-Pro that year. He's still a good tight end. I don't know what's going on with them. Like I said, week 1, A.J. Brown had like 1 target for 8 yards. He had 1 catch for 8 yards too.
Yeah.
That shocked me. That infuriated me, if anything.
The A.J. Brown stuff is weird because this has been a problem with them in the past, that they don't give him enough receptions. But the Mark Andrews stuff, to me, is way more concerning because it's completely like, at this point, just trade the guy. This is going on. This is the 2nd year in a row now where the guy's nothing on the team. No, it's like, Dennis, how much did you have tied into Mark Andrews? For me, quite a bit. And last year I had him on my fantasy team. So I've been watching him kind of closely over the last 2.5 years. It's odd, man. You have someone who's supposed to be one of the best tight ends in the league, and they just never use him anymore.
Right.
He's a big body. He's somebody that, especially a team like the Bills, that their secondary in the past has kind of been a little bit of a liability, I would say, or viewed as a liability compared to other defenses in the league, that you would think that that's the kind of situation where he would flourish in. A bigger body that can take, especially, time off the clock. It was a weird game. Weird game for that perspective.
It was a weird game.
It was a weird game in general, but I feel like this has been a persistent issue with the Ravens over the last 1.5 years. Like
I said, it's week 1. Hopefully they can fix it. But like I said, I definitely want to talk about Zay Flowers because he looked amazing. Like, I didn't realize he was like that. I said to people, I didn't realize, he actually had some decent stat lines. And last year he was good too. I think the Ravens would have had a better game against the Bills last year had he not got hurt. He got hurt, I think it was before, if I'm correct, it was before the playoffs. So it wasn't like he just got hurt in the wild card and that was it. So they didn't have him for the wild card against the Steelers, and they didn't have him against the Ravens. Against the Bills. The Bills obviously, they looked like the better team, but still. So it's just, when is Lamar going to get over the hump? That's my question for him. They should have easily won this game. But credit to Josh Allen and the Bills for just good clock management, good coaching, and just basically setting them up to succeed. That's just no other way to look at it. And so, we're looking at it from that aspect. He was healthy finally for the first time, and
Listen, we can't go this long talking about this game and not talking about Derrick Henry.
yeah, it's true.
18 carries for 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, longest of 49 yards, average of 9.4 yards per carry. That's insane. Yes, he had the fumble, but let's not forget what got them there in the first place. That guy's a bucket and a half. I'm happy he's on my team. My fantasy team. Love Derrick Henry. King Henry. King me.
Derrick Henry shows that age is not really a problem for him, in my opinion. I don't, he's at the age where like he should be coming down. He shows no signs of it. I don't know what he does. I don't know if you've seen his workout routine. He literally is a freak in nature in terms of his workout routine. Like I think he'll squat like at least 500.
It's like the Terminator 2 version of Brandon Jacobs. That's who he reminds me of.
It's probably Brandon Jacobs times 3.
That's what I'm saying.
Like if you want to look at it, yeah,
the new and improved.
That's a good comparison. I didn't think of it like that. He's, crazy. He left Tennessee, but obviously going to Baltimore, like he couldn't have gone to a better team.
I still don't get that from Tennessee, man. I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
Organizational dumpster fires.
I think people are just afraid to tackle him. I think they're just afraid to tackle him because they know how big he is, and then you see him running down. And it's they try to be careful and save as much as they can, but when Derrick Henry's coming, you're gonna get trucked, or he's gonna stiff arm you good, or I don't know. It's his skill set. He's just one of the best to do it, and yeah, it's good. You got him in fantasy, so I wish I had the opportunity. I wanted to draft him, but I didn't have the opportunity.
Yeah, because I took him.
Yeah, you took him. You took it from me. You slime dog.
Yeah. Took him round 2.
But in terms of Josh, before we move on, just got to talk about Josh Allen just and what he's able to do. He's definitely deserving of a ring. I putting the Jet fan aside. Like I said, I'm one of the biggest Jets fans you meet, but I'm also a huge avid football fan. So when I see something that's like, that's in football worthy and just insane, I have to talk about it. So Josh Allen, the way he was able to execute the drive, just pew pew pew, getting everybody, finding the open receiver and just extending the ball down the field, scoring, just making ridiculous plays. It's crazy how Buffalo really, they got a good one, and he probably passed Mahomes for being the best quarterback in the league right now.
Definitely. I don't think
what's up?
I don't think Mahomes was a top tier quarterback last year.
I think the only competition now is Lamar Jackson. There's definitely other quarterbacks, but that's the first to come to mind.
He's always a slow starter, but I got to throw out my guy Burrow.
Joe Burrow too, yeah, that's another one in mind. He got off to a slow start for me, but like I said, I'm hoping it's like the case where it's not where you start, it's how you finish. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, and fantasy is always any Bengal is always an investment. It's always a long-term investment.
Yeah, no, for real. So I got T. Higgins and I got Joe Burrow. So I'm hoping, Joe Burrow comes back and he lights it up like he did last year. I'm sure if they made the playoffs and they went far, he would have been. He's got to win MVP one of these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So credit to Josh Allen. Danny Dimes looked good. Played amazing as he had 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown, and they went on to beat the Dolphins 33-8. And I know there's a lot of panic right now down in Miami with Mike McDaniel, and Tyreek Hill's complaining now. He especially he's got some legal issues going on the side, and the Dolphins just did not play effectively, and a lot of people are calling for the GM's job, Will Grier, and obviously now Mike McDaniel. So we're going to see how that progresses throughout the rest of the season. And yeah, just but Daniel Jones though, he looked efficient. He looked like Danny Dimes.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm kind of missing my guy Danny Dimes. I mean, the Colts shredded the Dolphins.
No, you're not. You're not missing him.
Yeah, I always felt like the Giants failed Daniel Jones way more than he failed the Giants. I'll stand on that till the end of time. But 272 yards on 22 completions, 29 attempts, 1 touchdown, only 1 sack in a Daniel Jones game. I mean, Really? He must have been crying tears of joy. Daniel Jones only got sacked one time, Brandon. QBR 87.5, passer rating 115.9. And of course, Danny Dimes could do it with the legs. 7 for 26. Not the best average that we've seen out of our guy Danny over the years, but that's okay. 2 rushing touchdowns for your boy. How about that? Michael Pittman, big game too. Whoa. Hey now, 6 for 80.
What
Tyler
touchdown?
Warren, yeah, with a touchdown on 8
Tyler
targets.
Warren,
7 Warren.
good keeper.
Yeah, Tyler Warren, 7 receptions, 76. Jonathan Taylor had a nice game.
Yeah, Tyler Warren.
DJ Giddens had a nice game for himself. As like a rookie first year in the league. All right. Right? It is Giddens' first year in the league, isn't it?
Right.
Yes. All right. I have to be honest, though, like what you were saying. Oh, my God. It got so bad that they put Zach Wilson in garbage time. 5 for 8 for 32 yards by Zach Wilson. Listen, let me tell you something. As much as I think people hate on Mike McDaniel too much. I don't think the hate that he gets for being the Dolphins head coach is warranted half as much as people pretend it is. I think if he looked, sounded, and acted more like a football guy, then they would not be calling for his head half as much as they do. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, Brandon. How's about I give you a quarterback who is constantly getting looked at for concussions and playing with reckless abandon that we haven't seen since like El Cid, who used to play for the Vikings back in the day. We haven't seen a quarterback who plays like Tua since that guy. I forget his actual name. Oh man, help me out here. What's the name of the guy?
I can't name it.
Yeah, I'm looking up the actual quarterback's name, but the guy you see the highlights, and Joe Cap is who I'm thinking of. Joe Cap, who would just get absolutely laid out and just get back up like nothing happened. Like that's how Tua plays as a quarterback. Tua is not the size that he could be playing like that. And then you have Tyreek Hill, who's always a circus, on or off the field. And it's just like, I got to be honest with you. I'm almost kind of impressed with what Mike McDaniel's been able to do over the years, holding it together.
Yeah.
You have a quarterback who could be taken out at any second.
Right.
You have a wide receiver whose stupidity could take him out at any second.
Yeah.
Or could be the best player in the league on any given night. You never know. You literally never know when Tyreek Hill shows up to the stadium. You have no clue what you're getting. Your investment as a team is seemingly only in the offensive side of the ball, very little on the defensive side of the ball. And I know they got outscored 1,000,000 by the Colts here, but I feel like McDaniel, he gets such a bad rap. He gets such a bad rap for no reason.
I do agree. No, I do agree. Like, my issue with like I said, like you said, everything right there. He definitely gets a bad rep to some extent. He's one of the best football minds ever. He's really smart. He's come from working, he was a ball boy. The Broncos. He was a ball boy with them. Yeah. And obviously, working his way up to where he got. He got the job for a reason. He's one of the smartest football minds ever. But for some reason, just the Dolphins, they don't respect him, and I'd like to know why. They don't, and that's not good. And that's what happened last year with the Jets. There was no respect, there was no accountability. Players were showing up late, and that's what's going up now. Players are showing up late. Not showing up for meetings. There's no accountability, no respect, and that's kind of what's trickling down. And eventually, that's gonna cost you your job. So, some people are good coordinators, just not good coaches. Maybe he needs to take a step back and until he can be a head coach again. I'm not saying he doesn't have that ability to, but I just don't think there's reasons why he's going to potentially get fired. And
I just feel bad because I always got the impression that it wasn't so much that he wouldn't hold his players accountable as much as it was they're in Miami and their entire team are divas and they're the Miami Divas. And that's always the vibe I got. But that's just me. I like Mike McDaniel. Seems like a good kid. Dennis Silva approval. I'd take him over Dable. Oh, I don't know if I'd say that. Nah, that's not true. I probably would.
This says a lot, man.
I'm at my wit's end with Dable. Onto baseball.
Yeah, you know what? First
Unless you
off,
have anything else you want to?
no, I think we could talk about baseball, and obviously, I guess we'll wrap up the show. There's a lot going on. First off, we should pay tribute to former MLB manager Davey Johnson, who was the manager of the famous 1986 World Series champion New York Mets.
Excellent manager.
It was cool watching him in that documentary, the Mets documentary, Once Upon a Time in Queens. That was fun because they were able to get him in it. It was pretty cool. It's cool, seeing the stories that from back then, and also just his impact on the Mets organization. And I believe he has the highest winning percentage as a Mets manager in franchise history. So that's a lot to say. Definitely just the manager of that team. Hearing Darryl Strawberry come out, Doc Gooden, people to touch good things about him. I remember when he was a manager on the Nationals. He essentially was there with Bryce Harper. When Bryce Harper came up, I believe he was the manager at that time.
Yeah. I never understood why Davey Johnson wasn't a Hall of Famer as a manager.
He also,
I don't get that. He won a ring. He went to the
won a ring. Yeah, he won a ring as a player and as a manager.
1988, the Mets. It doesn't say it here on Baseball Reference. I don't know why. The 1988 Mets, they almost went to the World Series. And that team was better by most accounts. Most people would say the 88 team was better. They had a better bullpen with Randy Myers, who turned out to be one of the best closers of the late 80s, early 90s. You had David Cohen on the team. You had kind of more experienced. The younger players are a little more experienced. They didn't have to lean on Gary Carter and Keith Hernandez as much. They had other guys. Granted, they also lost Kevin Mitchell by that point, but they still had other guys that were good and made up for it. But they almost won. They almost went to the World Series twice in 2 years, in 3 years, I guess. And no love for Davey Johnson in historical discussions about managers and whatnot. He won in 86. And then, yeah, it's bizarre.
He was around baseball for a long time. Definitely one of the best managers. Just looking at his record, he had a lot of short stints with a lot of teams. I wonder why.
I think his coaching style, was something that a lot of teams probably didn't like. Not the players, but I think the front offices didn't really like so much.
Right.
And that was, I don't care what you do as long as we're winning, which was very much highlighted in the Once Upon a Time in New York documentary. Or Once Upon a Time in Queens. I forget the actual name of it. That he did not care. Like, the 86 Mets are known for being the biggest partying team ever. And he was like, no, I don't care. You're winning. So why should I care? And I think that that's something that turned off a lot of front offices. And that you can kind of get away with that when you're in New York. You can't really get away with that when you're in Cincinnati so much. So 93, he takes over the Reds. He's only there for 3 years. He's only in Baltimore for another 2. But if you actually look at the records, 53 and 65 for the Reds his first year there, 66 and 48 his second year. 95, that's the year after the strike. 85 and 59, pretty good. They made it to the postseason, and they had 3 postseason wins, 4 postseason losses. That's not that bad. And then he had 2 years on the Orioles, 88, 74, 98, 64. Then he another gap year. He goes back 99, 77, 85 for the Dodgers, 80s. You could just see the record is always positive everywhere he plays. Weirdly forgotten great manager of the 80s and 90s. Strange. I always say, like, I don't want to get too baseball historian here. I always say that the 80s baseball is like the land that time forgot. The 80s baseball is completely glossed over for some reason. And kind of one of those guys that he definitely should be a Hall of Famer. Every team he coached, he may not have won as many rings as somebody like Joe Torre or Tony La Russa, but I mean, the guy made an impact. You could just see it from the way players talk about him, from the win-loss records.
Yeah, no.
But I think the way they got the way he got there, I think was something that front offices may not have liked so much. That he was a little too player friendly.
I guess you could kind of tell in the Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, you could tell documentary and whatnot.
But
he did not care if that team was winning.
I'm looking up some. Yeah, I'm looking at. I'm not trying. He had a lot of clashes with some of the owners. I mean,
well,
it's just some disagreements. But you look at the managerial record and like the player.
If he's having clashes with Marge Schott of the Reds, I'm telling you whose side I'm on, and it ain't hers. The most notorious bigot in baseball.
I just looked that up. Then I don't want to get into that too much, but no, you look at the stats. He was a great manager. He was a great manager for the teams, and he had a lot of success. He had a lot of success with the Reds. The Orioles, they were good. He got fired from the Dodgers in 2000 because they didn't make the playoffs, and he didn't get along with the manager. But you look at the Nationals, he definitely had a good start to bringing them to success. He led them to the first ever division title in 2012, and he was significant when Bryce Harper was coming up into the league. And I like that. He retired after the 13th season. He just he was done with baseball. Said he got nothing to prove. And he just wanted to focus on life and his family. So good for him in that aspect.
Yeah. If I had to, just before we move on, if I had to put any two managers in the Hall of Fame that aren't there already, him and Cito Gaston, right away. Never understood why Cito Gaston wasn't in either. 2 World Series rings in 2 years with the Toronto Blue Jays. Never understood it. That him and Davey Johnson weren't in. It's a shame.
Yeah, hey.
And he'll be missed. He'll be missed. Very synonymous with the Mets. And big part of the fun Mets.
Yeah, he was the last out of that 69 World Series. And then funny enough, he won a World Series with the Mets as manager. And then obviously he won a World Series next year with Baltimore. So kudos to him. But either way, rest in peace to Davey Johnson. You will be missed.
He was also one of the guys that people point to as being one of the first PED users in sports.
Really?
Yep.
I never knew that.
Maybe that's why one of the reasons why time has kind of glossed over him a bit. But you could look it up. Davey Johnson PEDs. That a lot of people thought that he was one of the first people to start using steroids.
That's news to me. But either way, like I said, rest in peace, Davey Johnson.
Rest in peace, man.
But on another note, so speaking of the Mets, it's been interesting watching them. It's been tough. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what's going on against the Phillies. It's aggravating me that I can't watch right now because I don't want to get more aggravated. I mean, we're only 2 games up, but still, you got to take every game. It's just they don't know how to win games. It's just I don't understand it. It's a lot of someone told me you can blame the pitching, you blame the hitting. It's a team effort, but still, I still blame a lot of the pitching.
Yeah, well, what did I say here a couple weeks ago? Or it might have been my college show. I just went through the ERAs of the Mets. I was like, this is not sustainable. And last year, I'm not a Mets hater. Over the last couple of years, I've been right about the Mets way more often than I've been wrong. Wouldn't you say?
A little bit.
I predicted Shomania being great for you guys going into last year. I was in on the Mets last year when everybody else was out on them early on in the season. I still said I'm holding on to my Mets stock. I'm pretty accurate with them. And I just didn't think that it was sustainable because their starting rotation are a bunch of guys who you'd say if they were the third best in a rotation, you'd be happy. And they don't have that stopper. And it's a lot of pressure to put on young starting pitchers making their way in already in a playoff race. And no, actually, you're not only in the playoff race, you're in a playoff race for the team that was the hottest team coming into the season, or third hottest team coming into the season, based on how they ended last year, in New York. Oof, tough draw. And it's something that they got to get together here. You had to win the Red series. You lost 2 of 3. You had to be competitive in the Phillies series. You didn't win any games yet. They're playing again tonight on Fox. And it hasn't been competitive. They lost 1-0, then they lost 9-3, then 11-3. It hasn't been competitive. And now they're kind of finding themselves in a really rough spot here as they are kind of at one point, the Mets making it into the wild card was a formality. You lost 5 straight. Now the Giants are 2 games behind them. The Reds are 2 games behind them after beating you 2 out of 3 times. And the Diamondbacks are 3.5 and the Cardinals are 4.5. Now you have a lot of teams knocking at the door. So the Mets, they do not have time to figure it out. That time is come and gone. You got to get it together now. And you got to start winning out here. If the Phillies win tonight, they not only clinch the playoffs, but I think they clinch just by mathematics, like the likelihood. They basically clinch the National League East as well. Because the Mets, it did have to go winless, and the Mets would have to go on a winning streak to end the season, basically to win the division because of tiebreakers and such like that. Like the likelihood is insane.
Right.
And you can't do it. So I will take a look at the Mets' upcoming schedule here. One against the Phillies, and then you have 6, 3 against 3, all at home, 3 against Texas, 3 against San Diego, 3 against Washington, 3 against Chicago, 3 against Miami, who Miami always has the Mets number. If you're a Mets fan, I wouldn't be blocking off dates in October. It's going to be tough. I'm rooting for you guys. I wouldn't mind if you wanted to go to any of these games if they're at a weekend tonight. I wouldn't mind going. But
it's a playoff game?
To any game. But
we'll see.
Yeah, I'd go. But he ain't looking good.
I'm definitely a bit nervous. I'd be lying if I said, I wasn't. I'm not gonna lie. No, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we just, like you said, they don't have time to figure it out. This is, crunch time now. This is, this is no joke. This is September baseball. How they were last year, they gotta keep that energy now. It's, especially they got the Padres at home. And then obviously they got Texas. I wish I was going to the game tomorrow because supposedly DeGrom is pitching. And I would want to see that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen DeGrom pitch in a while, so I'd want to see that. But
he's going against Tong too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good matchup.
Very poetic. The next man up for the Mets, and then the former next man up for the Mets. Kind of passing of the torch.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a big series. This is gonna be really big. I have faith, but I also don't. We'll see. I'm not gonna panic or freak. I'm a little nervous, sure, but I'll freak out when we freak out, and so we'll see. But yeah, I know the Giants are coming right there. The Reds are right there. They're looking at it. They're busting their chops, and so I know the Yankees are fighting it out still for the division, but they're probably gonna have the wild card locked up. What do you think on that?
Who?
The Yankees.
Sorry, I was looking at something else. I don't know. I can't get a read on this Yankees team, man. I really can't. They're only 3 games ahead of Texas. You guys need to handle your business, buddy. You guys got to torpedo the Rangers here for us. Because I don't have faith in them getting it done on their own. We lost 12-2. Then we lost 11-1 against Detroit. Now we got Cam Schlittler going against Tyler Holton of the Tigers. We got to win. Because we got 3 against Boston, who always beats us. And, of course, Brian Bayo is pitching this series, who always pitches like freaking Pedro Martinez against us. He sucks against everyone else. Second he plays the Yankees, he's lights out. 3 against Minnesota. All right, that's nice. Then we still got 4 against Baltimore, 3 against Chicago, the White Sox, 3 against Baltimore. Should be an easy schedule, but these are all teams that always give us a hard time, save for the Twins, that are always our get-right series. Nervous. And suddenly, like I mentioned betting a few times, my preseason bet of Red Sox and Dodgers to both win their divisions. Suddenly, there's some late life. I still have faith in Boston to win the division. I'm still holding on. This team should have been way better than they started off.
Who? Wait, say it again. What team?
The Red Sox should have been way better than they started off. Both them and the Yankees are 3 games out of first place in the AL East.
The guy Roman Anthony.
He's hurt.
Really?
Yeah, he got hurt earlier in the week. I don't know if he's back yet.
Who was the pitcher that played? Who started in their debut? He had like 11 Ks.
No, I gotta see.
Is there anything else you want to talk
about? Connolly early. Dude, these baseball names. What are we doing? Guarantees from the South. 100%. 100%. Virginia. Yeah, how did I know? Continue.
No, I think is there anything else? Anything else you want to talk about or no?
Yeah, don't give your kids dumb names. That's what No, I'm kidding. Listen, man, Cal Raleigh. Let me ask you something. I asked this on my college show the other day. Our buddy Josh, good friend, Josh Gable, newlywed.
Yes.
Josh Gable. Aaron Judge has 62 home runs. Right? That's what he got a couple years ago.
Yes.
Switch hitting catcher Cal Raleigh's at 53 homers. Do you think he beats Judge's record? This is going to be a great breakout clip.
What has he got now?
He's got 53. He needs 9. And he's got a series against the Rockies. He's got some time. I think him winning the MVP, I don't even think anybody else is going to get a single first place vote. It'd be an embarrassment if they did, Aaron Judge included. 3 against the Angels, 3 against Kansas City, 3 against Houston, 3 against Colorado, 3 against the Dodgers. All those teams have had really bad pitching staffs this year, save for the Dodgers.
I think I'm gonna say he does it, especially like you said, he's got a matchup against the Rockies. I think he's gonna do it.
I think he's gonna beat Judge's record.
That's
all right.
Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
I'm ready.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to episode 32 of SportsShack. My name is Brandon G. Natali, along with Dennis Tui. Everybody has a great weekend. And remember, today's 9/11. Remember, we never forget. Thank you, everybody. Hope everybody has a great day.